So get ready, y'all. This is an appeal for help, and boy, do I need your help. Get ready. So, in Texas, aggravated sexual assault of a child is a first-degree felony with a punishment range of anywhere from 5 to 99 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. My ex-husband, according to Texas state law, if he had received full sentence, would have received life in prison for 2 counts of aggravated sexual assault on a minor. And I don't think that there are many people who would disagree that life in prison is minimal when it comes to sexually abusing and traumatizing a child. But because he was able to plea bargain, he pled down to 15 years with 2 years of jail credit, which means he would get parole after 7 years of good behavior. 7 years for 2 counts of aggravated sexual assault on a 6-year-old little girl. My daughter will be 19 in less than 2 weeks. The trauma and PTSD she has endured for the last 13 years of her life is astronomical compared to what my ex-husband will suffer for 7 years. Not to mention the fact that he is in solitary confinement. He is protected. This is because he's a pedophile and he was a police officer, so he's being protected in prison. I think that the least we can do for survivors like my daughter is make sure that offenders are put away for 25 years without an opportunity to get out on good behavior. Which is why at state convention, I fought to add the following plank to the RPT, Republican Party of Texas, platform. The plank states, protect our children, otherwise called Jasmine's Law. We support increasing the minimum sentencing for sexual assault on a minor less than 14 years old to 25 years and removing the option for parole for such offenders. We support A, notifying the victim or victim representative 60 days in advance of any changes to scheduled court proceedings, filing, or continuances. B, amending Texas Code of Procedure, Article, as you can see, 56A.452, to comport with this plank, which I will explain later. This plank had to pass committee and then pass as a party platform plank on the main floor with 9,000 delegates. This did not pass without its troubles. My plank had to be submitted twice because it kept disappearing, and we do not know why. This was also happening to dozens of other resolutions. I don't think that anyone was targeting me. I do think that it was an editing issue. But I do know that I have enemies within the Republican Party of Texas due to the fact that I do not discriminate between parties when it comes to exposing corruption or evil. It is on both sides. And I experienced some very interesting things when I went to Texas State Convention. For example, I had been asked to sing the national anthem for the congressional luncheon, and I was asked about a year in advance. And of course, this was requested of me before I criticized quite a few members of the party, including the state chair, Matt Rinaldi. I had purchased a dress for this occasion, shoes. You ladies will understand. And there were several people who had actually purchased tickets because they wanted to hear me sing. The day I drove down to San Antonio, I received a text from someone within the organizational part of convention, and I was told that they had, quote, found someone else who really wanted to sing. And at first I was pretty angry, but after a few minutes, I let it go. I'm not in their club, and that's okay. That's okay. I don't want to be in their club. Now, thankfully, I had some amazing committeemen who were dedicated to helping me and making sure my plank passed. And I'm so thankful to them for staying on top of this and keeping me updated so I could be available to testify. And now it's done. And now it goes to Austin. Now, you may be wondering about the last part of the plank, which is, quote, notifying the victim or victim representative 60 days in advance of any changes to scheduled court proceedings, filing, or continuances. This part is so important. And the reason why is because me and my daughter were given less than 48 hours to make a decision of whether we were going to accept a plea bargain or go to court. This was unfair to my daughter, who was not prepared to take the stand. And currently, law allows the attorney to notify according to what is reasonably practical. Reasonably practical to who? So yeah, we're going to fix that. I am extremely grateful, and I happily announce that Representative Steve Toth, future House Representative Daniel Alders, and Senator Brian Hughes and Senator Creighton have dedicated to helping with this in Austin. However, information is now coming to me from Austin that Democrats and those involved in the legal process, such as lawyers and judges, will likely fight me on Jasmine's bill. This probably would not be a huge issue, except for the fact that we currently have Dade Phelan, who is Speaker of the House and has appointed Democrats as committee chairs. This treacherous behavior has got to stop. When I was testifying at the Republican State Convention, an attorney confronted me about Jasmine's bill. He said they don't like minimum sentencing. He also tried to point out that it would be too expensive and it would overwhelm our prisons here in the state of Texas. So allow me to make myself abundantly clear. Unless you think we should go back to the old ways and do away with pedophiles in the way that we used to, which I am 100% in supportive of, and you know what I'm talking about, then I do not care how much it takes to keep a pedophile behind bars. If you think it is too expensive, then advocate to have them shot in the street. Advocate to have them hung in the city square. Advocate to have them placed into a wood chipper. But do not advocate to allow pedophiles to be released after 7 years of prison time because you think it is too expensive. Allocate funds from elsewhere. Release those who are sitting behind bars for a ridiculous amount of time for smoking weed. But don't you dare tell me that money is more important than keeping pedophiles off the street. 42% of child molesters are reconvicted of a violent or sexual crime within 15 years of release. And remember, those are just the ones that get caught or are reported. And it took my daughter over 10 years to speak up about what he did to her. I think that a 25-year sentence is more than fair. I also think it is only fair that victims be given at least 60 days to prepare to take the stand to face their abuser. We were given 2 days. My daughter insists it was less time than that. It's very blurry to me because it was traumatic, but she insists it was only a day. This is unacceptable, and it is what led us to being bullied into accepting a plea bargain. So Texas, I need your help. If Dade Phelan is kept as Speaker of the House, this is going to turn into a fight. I need all parents, mothers, and fathers, and those who have dealt with the same injustice as my child, and I need you to testify. Come to Austin, get behind me, overwhelm the phones as information comes in. I will give you information as it comes in. Demand that Jasmine's law is heard. I want all my ex-subscribers to know, and everyone who supports me by reposting, liking, and commenting, every cent that I make on X goes to Jasmine's law, and it's going to make it a reality. I especially want to thank my subscribers, my current subscribers. You really are making this possible, and I could not have done what I have already done without all of you. So join me. Come to Austin if you can. Jasmine's law must pass the 89th Texas legislative session. I love you all. Thank you. Mwah.